guys, welcome back to another tutorial. Today I've created this look using the Urbandecay Naked palette. This is the ultraviolet palette. Oops, I'm holding it upside down. I love the packaging so much. The colors are so pretty. The formulas are almost similar. It's a very good palette for a beginner because the shades are not so pigmented, which makes it very easy to blend, and you can go slow and build the shade up. So if you're a beginner and want to play around with darker shades like purple and stuff, you will love this. And it's a good palette for pros also. You can darken the shade if you want. I love how the colors are blending into each other, like especially the blue shade over here. It's blended so well into the purples. Then there's a pastel shade up, and there's even a pastel color over here if you want to play around with pastel colors. So this one is a perfect palette for you if you like purple shades. That is, I love purple shade. Like, that is my favorite purple shade. Oh, by the way, I'm Saliksha Adnani. I am a makeup educator. I love to create easy to follow tutorials because I want you to do the same look like I do in easy steps. I hope you recreate this look and send me pictures. And before we move ahead, don't forget to press the subscribe button down below. And now let's get started. I've already done my eyebrows using the Benefit eyebrow pencil. This is the Precisely My Brow pencil in shade 4.5. I've primed my eyelid using the Tarte Shape Tape in the shade medium. And now because I've added concealer on my eyelid, I'm going to set this concealer with the airbrush powder. This one is by Charlotte Tilbury in the shade 2. I'm just removing the fine lines and adding this powder all over my eyelid. Not very thick and not very thin layer, just one layer, and the same thing on the other side. I'm so excited to start this look using this palette. Love the packaging of this palette. It is so different than the other palettes, the other naked palettes. I just love the packaging. So these are the colors, and it comes with a brush. I usually don't use the brush. I'm going to keep this brush for my friend. I'm going to start by taking the shade Hack on a soft blending brush, and I'm adding this shade as always right above my crease. So I always do this so that the other darker colors, which I'm gonna add after this, shouldn't go above this color. So this is like my transition shade, and I don't want the darker shade going above this color. I'm just going back and forth, and I'm going on the side of my nose, just going back and forth and darkening this. This was the second layer. I'm going to add one more layer. I always like to start from the outer corner when I take the color on my brush, because wherever you keep the brush first is going to be the darkest, and I would prefer the outer to be darker. Just going back and forth, and I'm almost going as high as the brow when there is no color left on the brush. With just one more layer, that's the fourth layer. When I say layers, I mean that many times I took color on the brush. Just going back and forth. Next, I'm taking the shade Warning on the same soft blending brush, and I'm adding this shade to the outer corner and the crease. So that was the second layer. Basically right now it's not looking very bright. That's because I want it like that, like a little bit of washed out look. And later on I'll darken the outer crease a bit more. Just adding one more layer. That's my third layer. Next, I'm going to take this beautiful pastel shade on a small brush. I'm so happy that this palette has a pastel shade too. You could add it to the inner corner, but I'm so bored of doing that. So I'm going to add this right above over here, and I'll go up till my eyebrow. So I don't know if the camera's picking this shade up. It's the most beautiful pastel shade I've come across. The formula is just amazing, and as you guys know, lately I've been using a lot of pastel palettes. I can easily compare it to the other palettes, and this one looks really good too. So I've added it just above the inner corner, and I'm going as high as my eyebrow. Next, I'm going to take the shade Cyberpunk on this MAC Dense Blending Brush, and I'm going to add this shade to the outer corner and the crease. So I took more than usual on my brush because it's not very pigmented, so it's good for a beginner. Again, this is the third layer, and I'm adding it to the outer corner and to the crease. So I've added around 4 layers of this color on the outer corner and the crease. On the same brush, I'm taking the shade Purple Dust and I'm adding this to the outer corner to darken the outer corner a bit more and the crease. It is such a beautiful purple black shade. Just adding to the outer corner and the crease, going in circular motion, and now that's my third layer. So I'm just taking a fluffy brush and blending out the edges so they all look seamless. Next I'm taking the shade Euphoric on the MAC flat brush and I'm adding this to the center of my lid. As these shades are not very pigmented, I'm gonna add a second layer. I've not wet the brush. I'm just using a dry brush and adding this on the center of my lid. Next I'm taking the shade Lucid on that same MAC brush. Oh my god, this color is going to be my favorite color. I'm adding this to the inner corner and all the way till I added the previous purple shade. This is my third layer. Just adding some more. I'm again taking this shade Euphoric and just blending very gently where the previous shade Lucid met Euphoric and blending it out so that they don't look like two blocks of colors kept next to each other. Just gently blending it, no pressure. Then I'm going to take the shade Digital on this small brush and I'm adding this to the outer corner and on the crease. This shade is really very dark, so I want the outer corner to look the darkest. And then on the crease, right above all these shades, like an outline, and on the outer corner. And now this was the third layer. Once I clean all the fallout, you'll see the actual look. It's gonna look so pretty. I'm again taking this pink shade on the soft blending brush and I'm just blending out the edges so everything looks seamless and blended, and the tinge of pink is back. Next I'm gonna take some Bioderma on a cotton pad, hold it and just spread the liquid and saturate the whole cotton pad and just removing all the fallout. There is quite a lot of fallout. I'm loving this look, especially that outer dark shade. Just flipping the cotton pad over and just removing all the fallout from here. Next I'm gonna add some primer. I've already moisturized my face. This primer is by Neoid DCM. I've been using it since a very long time now and I love this primer because it's a primer and a corrector. It corrects all the redness on my cheeks, adding it on my face, my forehead and on my neck. For foundation, I'm going in with the Estee Lauder foundation. This one is in the shade 4W1. Another favorite foundation as the coverage I feel is like light to medium to heavy, all three. It's very liquidy, but you can always build the coverage by adding one more layer. But even one layer, like a nice one layer, is quite nice to cover all the marks and pigmentation. Just using the Fenty Beauty sponge, bouncing and applying all over my face, my neck, my forehead. Next I'm adding the double wear concealer. This one is in the shade 3W medium. I'm adding this right under eye. As I've told you guys before, this concealer is amazing for fine line, as when it dries up it becomes like a sticky layer which just covers all the fine line, like as if you've put like a sellotape or something. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It covers the fine line beautifully. So I've put this under eye. Now on the bridge of my nose, on the forehead, just above my lip, on my chin, around the lips and right under where I would do the contouring. I'm using the same concealer basically like a concealer and a highlighter. As you guys know, I prefer using a half shade darker foundation to cover all the pigmentation marks on my face, as a lighter color wouldn't have any color in it to cover all the pigmentation marks, and because the darker foundation makes my face look dull, I'm bringing back the brightness back by adding a lighter color concealer. It's not super light, just maybe half a shade lighter, so my face looks brighter again and not dull. And I'm again using the Fenty Beauty sponge to blend, and just over here I'm going in downward direction. Don't worry if the edges are not blended, because anyways I'm gonna add contouring and powder next. Next I'm adding the Fenty Beauty powder. This one is the Pro Filter powder in Banana. I'm first taking a small brush and adding this powder wherever I added the concealer. So basically right under my eyes, then on the bridge of my nose and the forehead, on my upper lip, on the chin, around the mouth and on the laugh line, and right under where I would do my contouring. Next I'm taking a large fluffy brush and adding the same powder all over the rest of my face, on the forehead, then on the neck. Next I'm contouring with my Dior contouring palette. I'm first going to take the darker shade on an angle brush and adding this shade right above my cheekbone. Just adding this shade in circular motion. You could either do circular motion. If that's difficult, just do back and forth, because sometimes circular motion can be a bit tricky and then you might go all over your face, and I don't want you to do that. So then you could just go back and forth. Next I'm adding on the jawline. No pressure, because then it will get difficult to blend if there is a patch. Just a love contouring. Can you just see the difference? Next I'm adding the MAC Aladdin highlight. I'm using the foundation brush to add this highlight. I love using a foundation brush to add highlight because it applies the best with a foundation brush. Next I'm adding the same highlight on the bridge of my nose, so that my nose looks snatched. Just adding one more layer. All these are powder products, so even if you add an extra layer, it's fine. It is gonna get lighter after some time. I'm adding this above my lips, on the jaw, so that my face looks longer and not short and stubby. Just love this highlight. Next, my current favorite blush. This one is by Natasha Denona. Smile and add on the apple of my cheek. I'm taking very little at a time and making it darker. This blush looks super dark, but it's not that dark, but it is so pretty. It could get as dark as that if I keep adding like maybe so many layers. After adding this blush, I feel my cheeks look as if they are Botoxed. They look lifted. What a pretty color. This color could suit so many skin tones. Back with eye makeup, I'm going to start by taking this pink shade on a small brush and adding the shade to my lower lash line. Just going back and forth all the way from the inner corner to the outer corner. Next I'm taking the shade Cyberpunk and adding this to my lower lash line all the way from the outer corner till the inner corner, outer being the darkest, and as it goes inside towards the inner corner it should get very light. Next I'm taking the shade Purple Dust on the same pencil brush and adding this to the outer corner, outer one half actually. Outer half. Then I'm going to take the shade Digital on the same pencil brush and adding this just to the outer 1/3. Next I'm going to add the Smashbox gel eyeliner. This one is a navy blue color and it's called Private. I didn't want to do a black liner today, so I'm doing this dark blue which is closest to the purple all over my eyelid. You can do black too. Just going back and forth. Love this blue. Next I'm adding the Marc Jacobs mascara called Lash. I'm adding this all the way from the inner corner to the outer corner. I love the fact that the wand is tapered at the start, so it makes it easy to add mascara all the way towards the inner corner till the outer corner. Next I'm adding the Sheglam lashes. This one is in 3DN16. Lashes done. These are the most lightest lash I've worn and they're not very dramatic. It's good for someone who doesn't like over dramatic lashes. So for lipstick, I'm gonna add the Fenty Beauty lipstick in Unlocked and Unbutton. As always, I'll add the darker shade towards the center of my lips. This one is the shade Unlocked, just the center. I think every time I do this, I feel I look like, I forgot her name from Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland, the queen of cards. And now I'm going to add the shade Unbutton right over it and around it. Just mixing it while I'm adding the shade. I'm so happy with the look. And that's the final look. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It was quite different than the other tutorial. Thank you so much for watching my tutorial and coming back to my channel. I hope to see you in my next tutorial. Before you leave, don't forget to like and comment on my post down below and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much. Bye.